In 2014, in search of a lifestyle that was closer to nature, we left our busy life in the southeast of England and moved to a remote part of Scotland. Here, our lives could be more in harmony with the flow of the seasons. This is our story. Good morning. It's a beautiful morning here in Ardnamurchan. It's relatively warm and it's a sunny and cloudy day. I'm just about to go out to Santa Bay, which is at the tip of the peninsula, and I'll find a secluded spot to have a swim, as I always do. Be interested to see what comes out of today. It's a bit of an adventure. I'm going to walk an area that I've not been before, so I'll keep you posted. So as we drive out to Santa, I drive past this scene. This is looking down towards Fascadale, which is the bay down on the coast down there, and then out on the horizon we've got the island of Rum to the left with the Rum Coolins, and then we have Egg with the Skur of Egg prominent, and then the northern end of Egg. And then I don't know if you can see over that settlement, but there is actually a faint outline, and that is the Isle of Skye. So we're coming down to the settlement of Santa. As you can see, the ocean is spread in front of you. It's there's only the Outer Hebrides between that and America, and to the right we've got Rum. This is a very remote community. There are very few residents here. I think there's probably no more than 4 or 5 residents. The vast majority of the houses are holiday homes and holiday lets. Leaving behind the Crofton community and walking north, this is the final house out this way. It was built at the end of the 19th and maybe the early 20th century. The sand dunes provide shelter to the main Crofton area. So crossing this wee bridge over the Santa Burn, you can look to the left and that is the point of Ardnamurchan, the furthest west point of the British mainland. And if you look more carefully, just near the point, there is just the tip of the Ardnamurchan lighthouse. By the side of the old house there are these ruins, and this one is particularly good because it shows the rounded corners. Now this indicates that the house is certainly pre-1800. Dating it beyond that, I don't know. With the old building in the foreground, you can see the Crofton community beyond. There's only one of those crofts that's actually now worked, but you can clearly see the ring of the old volcano, which I'll talk about later. Heading out now into the wilder lands, these glacier scoured rocks were left after the last ice age, 12,000 years ago. And there's very little topsoil or peat formed over them. You can see odd bits of vegetation, but it's a wild and somewhat harsh landscape. It's been denuded by humankind, sheep and now deer. They effectively prevent the regeneration of anything beyond sort of rough grasses. But wherever there is a bit of protection from the deer or the sheep and a bit of shelter from the wind, trees manage to grow. This is Rowan. This is the tree of the fairy, the tree of protection. And it's ready to come back into leaf. And just a little further on, there's a bit of a cliff and a bit of shelter from the weather. And there's 2 or 3 magnificent rowan, and in the middle of this shot 2 oak trees. Now the oak trees are the climax woodland for this area, but they were felled for charcoal, and then subsequently the regeneration was actually prevented by the introduction of sheep onto the landscape and now deer. But they are the most stunning of trees, and the way they are sculpted by the wind against this azure sky is wonderful. Further on there's birch trees in a hollow, and again you can see the way the wind has moulded and trimmed the tops. Looking across at the deserted village of Glendrian, the cliffs behind is the outer ring of what was once an active volcano. You can clearly see it here on this aerial photograph. And where I'm standing, I'm actually inside the caldera. The barren lands between should be covered in trees, but as I've said, the weather and the browsing restricts that growth. As I pan round, you can see the way the crofting community was actually built outside that active ring on more fertile land that is formed towards the sea. The rocks around here are essentially all volcanic. There's various types of lava and gabbro and many others that I can't name. I'm not a geologist. But this rock breaks down. The white patches on the rock are actually lichen. Every little crevice and crack has something growing in it. In this instance, a wonderfully delicate little fern. Lichens eating away, using the sunlight and the minerals to survive and establish themselves. Nature colonising wherever it can. Saxifrage. This little saxifrage in a few short weeks will be studded with white flowers. It's a beautiful thing, surrounded by moss. Nature is full of wonders. Here we have a sandy beach, and this sand is composed largely of seashells, ground down seashells. Yes, there is a mineral content, but the ground down seashells provide lime. When that lime is blown inland, it sweetens the acid soil that results from the volcanic underlying rock and the peat that has grown on top of it, and creates these grassy areas. It's known in the West as the maher, and it's highly prized and forms a lime-rich grassland. You will often find that in association with these areas there is nearly always a settlement. And as you can see in the distance here, this is the settlement of Glendrian. This was occupied until sometime in the 1940s, I believe. You can see the fertility that surrounds the immediate settlement, but out to the west, the more barren lands, the peat bogs, the wet surfaces, the rough grass. Land that is not nearly so productive. Land that was once covered with dwarf oak, birch, willow, alder. But it makes for the most beautiful scenery. And as we look to the north, there's the island of Egg and the island of Rum, and another beach and another grassy area to the left. And far out to the left of the picture, the island of Much in front of Rum. And despite some of the degraded landscape inland, this really is a stunning area. The sea itself provides a huge bounty. There's the bounty of the seashells and the lime to sweeten the soil. There's the bounty of fish, and there's the bounty of seals and sea creatures that would have been harvested and would have made life sustainable for those that lived and hunted and farmed around these shores. So finally I found a beach. I found somewhere where I could indulge my passion for cold water. It was out of the wind, which had been nagging and cold for the whole of the day, and so I felt comfortable as I waded out off the sandy beach with the cold water starting to embrace me. There was a feeling of wellness that I experienced. And this is the time to say goodbye and to thank you for watching. And if you like what I do and you enjoy seeing the scenery in this area, then you might like to give me a like and possibly subscribe to my channel. In the meantime, I wish you cheery in Gaelic, or goodbye.